Dennis, doesn't seem like
Got your
that.
arm on.
Oh. Yeah. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 25th Annual McNair Research Forum. So we're very happy that we've been here for 25 years. So thank you. Introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Barry. I'm a junior here at UND, and my mentor is Dr. David Perry and the rehab department. So I have been doing this research with him since I think it was just the beginning of this year, and we've been working on this till now. We're not done with the research just yet. We had some setbacks with winter break and then all the Thanksgiving, stuff like that, so we've kind of just done some busy work and then come back to this. We've been working on this, so early recollections and attitudes towards people with disabilities. This study has actually been done multiple times in the past, so we're just kind of going back to it and trying to improve on it. So just a little background information. So this is Alfred Adler. He's actually the person who kind of coined this study and started it. So he has his MD in ophthalmology and then later specialized in neurology and psychiatry. He also created the Adler Institute of Chicago, and so he also pioneered the use of early recollections and created the theory of individual psychology. So that's basically just focused on not just the individual, but also social belonging and interaction. And it came to be known as Adlerian theory, so early recollections along with the theory of individual psychology. So that came to be known as Adlerian theory, and it's still used today by a wide variety of people. So teachers, parents, physicians, in a wide variety of contexts. He believed overall that individuals contributed to society and had a purpose. And then I also included this little quote because I really liked it. So there might come a time when one will not anymore remember my name, but this does not matter because everybody working in our field will act as if he had studied with us. So that's why I kind of like Adler, because he wasn't really trying to promote himself as much. He didn't really care if no one really remembered who he was. He just wanted to make sure his studies were being used throughout the future. Okay, so what are early recollections? So they are vivid and of specific incidents that occurred at a young age. The importance is not really in the specific age itself, but more in the earliest significant recollection. So early recollections are believed to be what gives clues about an individual's values and what they consider dangers to be avoided. They are also of significance and aren't necessarily the first memories we have. Rather, they occur at a time when an individual is old enough to start remembering or start to understand the world themselves. And it's also used to guide an individual through different life stages and as well as decisions that they make. Okay, so I wanted just to give some background information about the past or the most recent study. It was done in 2017 by rehab students. They were graduating and they did this with Dr. Perry as well. So they distributed their study to only 2 intro sociology classes, and in each of those classes there's about 150 or 200 students, so pretty big. They're freshmen, so it was a pretty big place to give them out and get enough data. So they required each individual to think of an earliest memory, write that down, specifically with a person with a disability, and then they just try to give as much information about that interaction as they could. They also rated various statements regarding that early recollections with people with disabilities with the use of 3 different scales. So the first one was Early Recollection Attitude Scale, the ATDP, or Attitudes Towards Disabled Person Scale, and then the MAS scale, Multidimensional Attitude Scale. And then they compared that earliest memory with the scales to kind of see if it was a positive interaction or a negative interaction and how their attitudes kind of formed after that. So just some quick pictures of these. So this is kind of that early recollections attitude scale. It just has them read through each one, and then they have to kind of rate it as if it fits my memory, if it doesn't fit my memory, or I'm not sure. And then that's the MAS scale right here. So again, they just kind of read through it, and then they have to kind of rate if this happened to their memory, if they remember it happening or not. And then this is the ATDP scale. So again, they just kind of read through all of these different statements about people with disabilities, and then they kind of rate if they agreed with it or not. So a lot of them, we have tried to have an equal amount of positive and negative statements. So I felt uncomfortable with this person, or I felt they were really friendly. So we can kind of have a different basis, so it's equal. And then, so my current progress, we've only been focusing on readability and if it's clear to people reading it. We've actually given a pilot study out to about 3 different classes, and they've been all my classes, so my classmates were able to kind of see what I've been doing and then help me kind of figure out what I need to include in it, or what I shouldn't include, and what I should take out. So yeah, we want to just improve upon the 2017 study as well as the past studies that have been done in this. We want to make changes that are unique to myself and both Dr. Perry as well. We've included more demographics in the last 2017 study. They didn't have a lot of demographics, and I really wanted to expand on it. We also made them open-ended questions, so we don't ask for like gender identity. We don't ask like male or female. We kind of leave it open so they can write whatever they want. So it's open to everybody. I also wanted to include more colleges that majors are a part of. For the most part, in the past, they've only been given out to like psychology or sociology. And I kind of want to see how people from engineering or aerospace kind of think about these things. Because in their majors, they don't talk about like communication or stuff like that with people and how they interact with others. So I kind of want to see what they thought about it. We haven't done this yet, but this is where I want to go from here. I also included employment status and a definition of what disability really is. A lot of people don't really know what disability is. There's about like 3 different ADA definitions, but I included that so people can kind of read about it and then they can reflect and see it. And we also ask them if they have a disability. That way their attitudes might be different than other people's if they don't. And then we also created a new attitude scale, and I have pictures of that as well. So this is the most recent one that I put together. So like you can see, it's all open-ended questions for the demographics. And then we also include how much contact they've had with a person with disabilities, and we give them a time frame. And we also ask how they kind of view that overall quality before they go into the scales. So we can ask right away how you felt about that interaction, and then we'll talk more about that. So we gave this pilot study about a week ago, actually, and everyone really liked this scale too right here, just because of the wording. So there's smaller sentences, and we asked if it fit their memory, not like I agree or I disagree or I'm not sure. A lot of people kind of got lost when going through it. They didn't really know what we were asking. So if we say it fits my memory, they can kind of go from there. It's pretty easy to understand. And so my future progress, like I said, I do want to give this to a larger sample size. I want to have more diverse data. I want to give it to the other side of campus that's not just in human resources and stuff like that. So aerospace, engineering, business, law, everyone who doesn't have to deal with like psychology or sociology, but I still want to give it to them as well. I want to give them to about like 1 or 2 intro classes, so I still have that really big sample size, so I get enough information. I also will eventually incorporate those ATDP scales and that multidimensional scales as well with updates, and then I'll have to compare those results, do some statistics and stuff like that. But I do expect to see similar results from the past as well, so that's a positive correlation. So most people who had a positive experience with people with disabilities also had positive attitudes later on in life. And then vice versa, if they had negative experience with someone with a disability, currently their attitudes are also sort of negative. So yeah, that's basically it. Any questions for me at all? Yes, Patrice.
Well, I know in a lot of research they have questions about looking at scales and stuff, the validity and reliability. How are you going to work with that?
I'm not sure yet. I know because Dr. Barry has done this so many times in the past. He's done this study many times with other students. I'm sure he'll help me with that. We haven't actually really touched on that yet because we've been focusing so much on just like the readability and how it looks and if people understand it. So eventually I'll get there. Hopefully at the end of the semester we'll work on that. But for now, I'm not sure how we'll incorporate that just yet. Yes?
So as an advisor, I know there's some students in engineering or aerospace that do take the intro to psychology or psychology or sociology. So is there a way to take out duplication?
I'm actually not sure. We might, because we do ask what major they're a part of, we might just put them in different piles so we can actually collect them differently. So I'm sure if someone is in aviation who's in the sociology class, we can just take theirs and then put it with other aviation and then kind of rate it like that. But yeah, I didn't really think about that, so that's probably a good idea. Yes?
Hi, Leah, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
On your early recollection, what was the youngest or the earliest age you know?
I think the youngest age, if that's what you're asking, was about like 3. Some people have really early recollections and they kind of remember exactly like what happened, because we do ask them to write it down. That way they can kind of look back at it when they're doing the scales. But some people, I think, was about 3. It was pretty clear what was happening, so, which is kind of cool. But then the latest would be 10, and we don't ask past that.
And then my second question, your N number or your number of participants, what do you anticipate when you do the aerospace and law and more of the STEM and the social sciences?
I'm not sure. I know that each intro class, they're sort of different. I know in sociology it's like 200, and then aerospace, I'm not actually sure how big their intro classes are. My boyfriend is actually in aerospace, so I kind of asked him like if I could ask someone in the aerospace building if I could go talk to them, and he gave me a contact. So, but overall I'm not sure. I just want to do 1 to 2 intro classes. I'm hoping to just get a large sample size that I had a lot of information, so whatever helps would be great.
No, that's great.
Okay. All right, well thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.